Hey everybody, how we doing? Playing my kid, EPG Studios again. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out our OnlyFans, like, hit the notification button, Patreon, Discord, all that special channels so you don't miss anything about the buzz. And we're kind of bit of community. Damn, okay. Well, today, I used to be a Sims free play fan. I used to play Sims free play all the freaking time. And I don't know if you guys have ever played Sims. If you guys have ever been part of the Sims community, like a lot of people played a lot of Sims 3. I am a Sims City 4 fan. I got every PC in my bedroom. I got Sims 4 on, okay? I've been playing Sims 4 Deluxe and Sims 4 since I was a little baby, okay? And I have to tell you, that game is amazing. But when it comes to Sims, I don't really know how to play Sims, except for Sims Free Play. Yes, I own Sims 4 on my PC, and I only played maybe about 2 hours or so in the game. That's a long, grindy game. I don't know, but I'm waiting for Sims 5, though, because that game seems like I can start fresh on the game new, you know, to start right on the docket, okay? But anyway, guys, we're going to react to this guy. He's talking about Sims is destroying its reputation with some of its biggest fans. I'm very curious what he's talking about. I'm not 100% sure what he's talking about, but let's dive right in and figure out what the heck he's talking about, okay? Let's see.
In the eyes of some of its biggest fans, The Sims 4 has suffered hundreds of blows to its reputation. I mean, look at the poor thing. It's being destroyed bit by bit. What led to this? Is there a failure of leadership at EA, or are things going just fine on
Let me know in the comments. Do y'all know if Sims 4 has a multiplayer?
Visualization.
I'm just curious.
And I don't think that EA are actually demons. Of course not. Join me, fellow Sims castaways, at Sims 4's major upside over its predecessor came with its own massive downside, and that's not a great position to be in. Of course, the game has a solid build mode.
Yeah, it does have a solid build mode. I know.
Creative Sim tools were good even then. But those are the environment and character creation phases of the game, not the game itself. Kevin Van Wert
that's a good point. But at least you have the solid ground taken care of. That's all really matters. But he is true about that.
You could not take this many steps backward and still somehow feel like 4 was an upgrade. All in all, based on missing features and unfinished coding that meant the game was a mess to play, it was clear the game was released with EA's share price in mind more than creating a satisfying product. It needed to be delayed, but I suppose the SimCity thing made EA afraid of taking risks. The money flow from Sims 3 was stopping due to the release of the final pack, which was Into the Future, and those pack sales would inevitably drop off. Developers did acknowledge the game had problems, and said they had to make sacrifices due to new technologies like the emotion system and more advanced behaviors. Those smarter Sims. But there was just so much missing for this excuse. It wasn't ready at all, bottom line. There were just 2 tiny worlds, boring gameplay, buggy gameplay,
lack of story progression, dishwashers, burglars, firemen, repairmen, repo men, nannies, half-walls, graveyards, bikes, paid time off for jobs, creative style, pools, basements, rabbit holes for work, and toddlers. What am I missing?
Oh yeah, cars and a game people can play. So that's the state Sims 4 was in at launch, and it's crazy to look
I
back
don't know how you get
list
to like a
it all
talent
out.
and stuff, or do you build these? See, that's the thing I haven't seen.
The Sims 4 was, thank God, moddable, and a modder named Twisted Mexi actually was the first to publish extended cheats for the game. That's right, among all the other problems, we barely had any cheats, and he found a ton that made the game more enjoyable. But while digging around in Sims 4's code a couple years later, he found reference to the online game Sims 4 was going to be. This is relevant as before Sims 4 was released, a Maxis employee leaked details on a blog about Project Olympus, the Maxis codename for a game that was to become an online Sims game. Remember that thing with SimCity? This is all happening right around the SimCity fiasco with its online-only requirement and heavy hate from the player base.
I remember that.
So online-only games were a no-no right now.
That's the reason why I couldn't play SimCity when I was young.
Especially for single-player games. All in all, the theory is that EA scrapped the online game and used systems from it for Sims 4. They didn't have enough time for development. They marketed the things that were best developed, like Creative Sim, and worked hard to get something out the door by September 2nd for release day. Reusing things from other game prototypes is
Call of Duty does that all the time. Like Black Ops Cold War, the same menu design, all that's pretty much the same for Modern Warfare. But Black Ops Cold War did it worse.
But not necessarily something they did wrong. It just explains a few things. So we're less than a month after a fairly crappy release. You know what the first thing the Sims team patched in the game was? A gnome. With all that missing, they added a gnome. Thankfully, a few weeks after the Sims 4's release, they patched ghosts into the game and added ambrosia and death flowers. In November, they finally added a pull tool. It was clear they were working frantically to get things that were missing back into the game in order to please players, because it had already been released prematurely to please shareholders.
Cyberpunk 2077, just like that.
It took 5 months in total to get ghosts, pools, and family trees. Meanwhile, they were working on the game's first 2 major packs. The first pack to release for The Sims 4 was Outdoor Retreat, which added the first vacation to the game. This was a game pack, not an expansion. Sims 4 ditched the Sims 3 store, but added a third type of pack that was meant to have a narrow focus on one gameplay idea. In this case, camping and a wilderness destination. Outdoor Retreat featured an aspiration, new reward traits, and it really wasn't all that bad in itself. But the timing was awful. The game was in a bad state, and adding vacations was not going to fix any of the complaints the players had. The bad SimCity launch had taken its toll by this point, and in March 2015, Maxis Emeryville, the studio that had created many of the games we love from Maxis, was closed and consolidated into Maxis's Redwood Shore studio. Emeryville was not the Sims studio, but you can see restructuring within EA to fix its profit margins after some disastrous launches. Jason Schreier reported that EA was not very happy with both The Sims 4 and SimCity sales. They deserved poor sales. It was 2 months after this before the game had basements. Good God, man! It's March 2015, and Get to Work is Sims 4's first expansion, and it was actually pretty good. It didn't relieve the base game's massive problems, but I did enjoy all 3 active careers and retail. It's not saying much, but other than gardening, it was pretty much the best thing we had to do at the time. Something about Get to Work is it probably has the most animations of any pack we've had. This points to one of several reasons about why Sims 4 is so weak. The development team is all spread out. If we get good animations in one pack, we probably won't get a world. If this one has decent gameplay they took time to code, the next one will fall flat because they're always working on like 3 to 4 projects or more at one time. So Get to Work wasn't awful, but it set a bad precedent. It came with no traits or aspirations, and the game sorely needed them. Imagine playing with only base game traits, and this was one of the major gameplay issues. Sims feeling all exactly the same, giving you little reason to play a different one. They skipped the basic step, and it would quickly become a noticeable pattern that you aren't even guaranteed side attractions and new expansions. Expansions, you know, the ones that cost almost as much as a AAA game.
Yeah, the expansions.
This pack brought hot tubs to the game, if you gave EA $10. Instead of give us what had traditionally been a base game object, they decided to sell it to us in Perfect Patio. Why do I view hot tubs as a base game object? Primarily because it's something you can throw in the base game that wealthy Sims can purchase, giving you something to do with all that money. They would eventually give everyone a bad hot tub on last year's Sims 20th anniversary. That was the only gift to the community for that anniversary, and many of us already owned one. September 2015 was the 1-year anniversary for The Sims 4, and Maxis shared some cool stats from that first year. Players had woohooed 235 million times and created 92 million Sims. Imagine how many players it must take to do that. This is one of those things that frustrates you. Knowing this is a very big game, yet it's created like it has a show.
As he has a lot of good points, and I completely agree with that. Well, we're going to call it quits for this video, but that was fun. Let me know if you guys learned anything new. Go check out his channel too as well. I have his link in the description. So, guys, thank you guys for watching. Holy Mike, EPG, sign up. Have a good one.